There are more concerns this evening about the long-term viability of the National Health Fund, NHF, amidst reports that the fund has written off $2 billion owed by the government. The concerns were raised by members of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, PAC, today as they examined the performance audit report of the NHF, completed recently by the Auditor General's Department. The audit indicated that the NHF did not meet its target to satisfy the needs of public health facilities. TVJ's Andrea Chisholm has details of the first sitting of the PAC since November last year.
This is the situation. The NHF buys pharmaceuticals and other medical items described as sundries and sells them to government healthcare facilities. With the no-user fee policy for public health facilities and limited resources, the government is unable to pay its bills with the NHF on time. At the end of the last fiscal year, the government owed the NHF $4.5 billion for the items, plus since that time, about $130 million was added to the debt stock.
And then we have a build-up of a receivable from the government to the NHF because presumably the budgetary allocations for covering this have not been adequate. Could you comment on this build-up of the receivables and what's behind it?
Right. So some of that receivables, Chairman, is historical. Some of it is related to pricing mechanisms which have now been addressed.
The Permanent Secretary, Sansia Bennett-Templar, argued that the Health Ministry has increased its budget to pay the NHF for the items it supplies, moving from about $2.6 billion in 2009-2010 to almost $10 billion this fiscal year.
Of that $9.88 billion, $6 billion would be in the budget for this year for the NHF. So I just want to underscore that there has been increasing and significant increases in the amount of funds which are being provided for pharmaceuticals and sundries.
But committee members argue that the money set aside to pay the NHF is not enough. In fact, the Auditor General's report pointed out that there was a $2 billion write-off to the Health Ministry. The report also stated that the fund transferred $2.4 billion from the Benefits Division on multiple occasions in order to pay its suppliers. That division helps NHF beneficiaries with 16 chronic illnesses like cancer to pay for associated expenses.
We're running ourselves back into a similar situation of central government not paying on time. Any company at all that it is, if NHF was a private entity, would have probably gone belly up already.
Right.
But so the thing is not having this continue for a longer period.
The Health Ministry's Permanent Secretary says discussions continue with the Finance Ministry to clear its balance with the NHF. The Auditor General's Department also wants the NHF to ensure there's a consistent supply of pharmaceuticals and sundries. Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.